Hello. Just a moment while I get ready to actually work on the episode. So we'll be recording episode 7 for the Artisan Workshop series. But how are you guys doing today? I've been really busy, and I will be kind of really busy in the near future as well, but I will try to record these things whenever I have a bit of time. Hi Francis. So I think right now I have a tiny bit of time, so I should try to do one more episode today and tomorrow for the YouTube, for the actual edited one. Where's the top part of the webcam? Okay, so it's just a couple of centimeters above my head. I think my camera is pointing kind of downwards at the moment. Anyway, I guess I should just start without too much rambling. Do I need to prepare anything? Maybe not. Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of the Artisan Workshop tutorial series. And in this episode we are going to look at how to spawn NPCs into the town view, or the visit the town center view of the campaign. And last time we were scavenging the Tailworld's codebase for stuff that we can use in our own code. And we found this workshop character's campaign behavior, which I didn't really go too much into detail, but this spawns all the shop workers. I mean, you see here, this gets the culture shop worker object, and this will spawn the shop workers into every workshop. So this is something that we can use to spawn our own NPC into the workshops. And in this case, eventually I want to spawn the artisan brewery or artisan brewer, but right now we can just start with getting everything ready to spawn any type of NPC. And you can also see like how we can copy paste things from the existing code base. So from here, looks like this is the starting point. So we listen to new event, and the event that we will listen to is location characters are ready to spawn event. And this will go into our own campaign behavior that we made in episode 5, a couple of episodes back. So we will just add one more listener there, and we will listen to location characters are ready to spawn event. And it's maybe not, I don't even know honestly what location characters really are. I just know that they are like, I mean, it's basically NPCs, and like location character is some sort of agent with agent that is tied to some specific location in the map. So we can take this location characters are ready to spawn, and this is fine method name for us as well. So we just copy that in, and this unused usable points is the name of this argument. To be honest, I don't even really understand what it means, or like I kind of understand what it means, but not entirely. But that's not the point. The point is that we can use the code that exists to spawn shop workers, to spawn our own NPCs. So here, let's see what this does. It looks at the current settlement. It looks at the current location is the center within the current settlement. This is all kind of, and it looks at it is daytime. Campaign time now is daytime. So that's not, this is all a bit technical, but this condition looks good. So let's just copy that. And let me actually reverse this and return. I don't want too many nested if statements, and I don't want this additional indirection here. So we can just copy all of this. So this is the thing that actually spawns the workers. And we can take a small look at what this is actually doing. Location with ID is the same as before. So it looks at the town workshops. It checks that the workshop is operational. Then they check the unused usable point count, get the tag of this workshop. So the workshop tags are basically numbers. So 0 is the artisan workshop in this settlement. 1 will be the first workshop, and 2 is the second workshop, and so on. So the workshop tags are like workshop _ 2 for the second non-artisan workshop, for example. So this looks at this dictionary of unused usable spawning points. It checks how many unused spawning points there are and multiplies it by 33%. So basically, we spawn 1/3 of the potential amount of shop workers based on the spawning points. So that is what this is actually doing. And of course, we don't really care about any of this stuff. So we can just remove all of this. Maybe we should check that there are free spawning points. So we could check that this unused point count is larger than 0, I guess. We don't need a while, we just want one NPC. We want our artisan brewer. And then we don't care about any of this stuff. We don't care about any of this stuff. We need a character object. And eventually I want to make my own character object for the artisan brewer NPC type. But for now, let's just pick something. So I was thinking of like caravan master. So we can, this culture has a bunch of character objects. Caravan guard for this culture, caravan master for this culture. Is there like arena? No, there's no arena master. Armorer. There's a bunch of character objects for every culture. So let's just do caravan master. And this is decent because there are no caravan masters usually in the map. So if we later we will add dialogues. So if we condition our dialogues based on that we are talking to caravan master, we know that we are talking to the NPC that we spawned. Whereas if we just spawned like shop worker, then we wouldn't really know that we are spawning. We are talking to the NPC that we spawned, we created. So let's just do caravan master here, and let's try to firstly satisfy the compiler over here by adding some more imports. And then there are a ton of different arguments for this spawning. And to be honest, I don't care about most of this stuff. The workshop tag is the place that this NPC will be placed. That is like the navigation target, I guess. So where the NPC will try to walk to and where it will be spawned. Let's format this a bit more. So where is the endpoint for this thing? Over here. Kind of difficult because the line is so long. Let's just format it like, do I like this? Not really. just trying to figure out what sort of formatting I like. Maybe I like this. This looks fine enough to me. So first of all, the first massive argument is this agent data. So it sets new simple agent origin. Actually, I don't even need. So the agent origin is like the backstory for this character. So like, for example, the main character origin is that your parents were killed and you fled with your brother, all that stuff. And the simple agent origin is just like a origin for a character that doesn't really matter. So, for example, troops might have simple agent origin because they are like cannon fodder. They don't really matter. They don't have interesting backstory. So you see that if I Control Shift Space here, Visual Studio will show you the arguments for this method, and you actually see that the default arguments for each position here. That is what this means, the brackets and then equals something something. These are the default arguments. So that means that all of this stuff, if you look at the default arguments, it's like -1, null, and the default descriptor. So all of this stuff is actually just the default arguments. So we don't need any of that. And the only thing that matters is that this character will be based on the caravan master character object, or this agent or location character. So the agent is inside the location character, and inside that you have the agent origin, which actually determines what type of location character will be spawned. The monster is like, is this a horse or a human? So this is a human in a settlement. That looks fine. We don't want to mess with this stuff. And then there is agent behaviors, and this character will be given just the wanderer behaviors. And I guess wanderer behavior is just NPC that might move around a bit or something like that. Doesn't really matter too much. The agent behaviors are very complicated topic, and I won't really be going into that. And then there are a bunch of further arguments, such as use civilian equipment. So we want to use civilian equipment actually. And then a bunch of other stuff that we probably won't care too much about. And then finally, once we actually have our location character, after all this work, we can add that location character into the scene, into the settlement scene, into the current mission, I guess. But to be honest, you don't need to understand any of this stuff. Only thing that matters is that you get the simple agent origin with the character object that you want. And to prove that, we can just run this right now, and it should just work, I think. I don't see why it wouldn't work. So we listen to location characters ready to spawn. Let me put a breakpoint here, where we enter the location characters are ready to spawn, so that we can see when that happens. And we can try a couple of things, like going into a tavern, seeing if that triggers location characters are ready to spawn, and stuff like that. Kind of slow boot. I guess it's the first boot of the day for the game, so it is kind of slow. So now if we go to, if we take a walk around the town center, we should hit the breakpoint. And we do. And then we can check that so the location with ID is the center. So the center is the town center, right? So that is exactly what we were looking at. Oh, well, actually, the campaign mission current location is also the center, and we are comparing that with the center we got here. So yeah, but that's right. And this condition passes, and then we go through the workshops, and we check that the workshop is running, which it is, and then we check the number of usable points. The number of usable points is 0 because this is the Artisan workshop. So the Artisan workshop does not have a place where you can place NPCs, so that's not true. The next workshop is the workshop number 1, which is the Carpenter, and that will have 27 available spawn points. So we will just take one and put our Caravan Master there. Okay, so this looks to be working. So let me just run it. And instead of walking all the way to a workshop, let's just instead talk to one of these NPCs. So you can check here who owns a workshop. So this guy or this girl owns a wood workshop, so we can just visit her. And we should be placed somewhere near the wood workshop, which is here. And somewhere in here, we hope to find our Caravan Master. But you might have to look for him. Let's see. Can we find... Oh, here you are. Batanian Caravan Master. And if we talk to him, he would just ask if we want to hire him. Which is, I guess, the mercenary behavior. Because we haven't set our own dialogues or anything yet. So this is what would happen if you meet Caravan Master out in the wild. He wants to join you, and we can pay him and he will actually join us. Okay, so... And we can go to the other workshops. So this guy owns the smithy. We can go to the smithy as well. And we should see that all the workshops at the moment have one of these Caravan Masters just chilling somewhere. But where? Wait. What are you? You're a Highborn Warrior, okay. Oh, the shop continues up here. That has to be our Caravan Master. This guy has to be our Caravan Master, yes. Okay, so you can see that all the workshops have one of these guys. You can highlight all the important people in settlement. These are not important characters though. Maybe I could set them as important. But so this guy is important, but this is just some dude I spawned. So not particularly important NPC. But you can see that this is working. So actually the only thing I want to change about this is that we only want to spawn them in breweries. We only want to spawn in our characters in breweries because eventually they will be the artisan brewers, and we don't want them in the other types of workshops. So we just said check workshop type is so the string ID is brewery, and the string IDs are the IDs you see in the XML files. So for example, we called our item we called our beer item artisan beer, artisan underscore beer. So that would be the string ID for our item type. And for this, so this brewery is also the ID you see if you go into the workshop type XMLs. So we check that the workshop type equals brewery, and we can actually set another breakpoint here, maybe, except that I cannot. Okay, here. And now we just have to go to a town which hits this condition, and I can show you the string IDs. Well, I already know that the brewery is the correct string ID, but I can just show it to you just to make you believe, I guess. So let's go to Danglanus, which is a city that has a brewery. And we can go in here and visit. So now, if we look at the current workshop type, so the workshop type is brewery, and the workshop or the string ID for brewery is indeed a brewery. So it's better to use the string IDs instead of something like name or description or whatever, because these would change based on your language, whereas the string IDs are always the same. So even though the name for this workshop, or even on the top level, if you look at the workshop here, you can say the name. You can see that the name for this workshop is brewery. So technically, you don't even, or if you use this, you wouldn't even need to go look at the workshop type. But only the workshop type has this string ID, which is the thing that you actually want to check against. Okay, but now if I press F5, this condition will not be hit more because there is only one brewery in this city. So now we know that we spawned only one Caravan Master here, and we spawned him in the brewery where we are right now. So this is actually working just as well as I want this to work right now. So in the next few episodes, I will add the dialogues so that we can actually interact with this NPC that we spawn. And then I will also add my own type of NPC, or we'll add the XMLs to make actual Artisan Brewer NPC type. So then it will be a bit more thematic, and we can control the equipment and stuff like that. But that is everything for this episode. So I want to thank you so much for watching. And if you are in the live stream, if you have any questions, I can take a couple of minutes to answer them. But if not, then thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Yeah, so not too difficult, or so the actual agent system is kind of really complicated, really complex. If you, for example, try to make your own agents with their own behaviors, all that stuff is actually fairly complicated. But the system, they use this location character wrapper for agents, which is used to spawn the NPCs to specific locations. It's actually simpler. So the spawning location characters is kind of somewhat easy, like this. And the location character also can spawn them to specific points and stuff like that. So it's fairly convenient for the programmer. But I think I will just edit this episode. Did you show what you told me on Discord? Sure. The mission, the difficulty model thing, right? You mean the difficulty multiplier thing? Let me check. Okay, let's go to sandbox mission. I'm not Iranian. So let's go to sandbox mission difficulty model. Let me save this episode 7. I'm from Finland. On NPC. Okay, so let's go to our mission view. Well, actually, go to submodule. Her logo looks like Iran's flag. That might be somewhat accurate. I have not thought of that before. So let's not use their work and their namespace. But interesting thoughts. So my mission difficulty model, right? And then what did I tell you to write? I told you to write starter object add model. So here, so we want to check that it is a campaign starter. Add model, new my mission difficulty model, right? This part. And then we can check that this is actually used. So let's go in here. I mean, for you, it would be more difficult to check this part if your breakpoints don't work in Visual Studio. But for me, I can just put a breakpoint here and make sure that we actually hit this thing. So the models work in like last one actually is effective fashion. So for the models, the load order is very important. I mean, your module should almost always be after the Tailworld's modules anyway. But if there are multiple custom mods or multiple like user mods that add models, then only the last one is actually effective. So let's go fight some loaders. Now if I hit them or they hit me, we should see a breakpoint, sure. And we see that we get the victim agent and the attacker agent. The victim is either me or my horse. The victim is... Why is it so hard to see? The monster as horse. So the victim is my horse. And the attacker is, oh, the loader, of course. Okay, so this is working. And let's check that the result is probably 0.25. So I have easy difficulty right now, I guess. I mean, we could have checked that it was, wait. Yeah, damage to player multiplier is 0.25, so 25% damage to player. So that is why our result is 0.25 as well. Okay. So this is working. And then what I would do is just put here if, I mean, they already have this condition right here somewhere. If victim agent, okay, so this is the condition that you kind of want, except not the victim. If attacker agent is not null and attacker agent is mission main agent, No, not mission. No. Mission current. Oh, is main agent is a thing? Whoa. Okay, and then result is point, or like, let's say a lot of percents, 2000%. Oh, so you want to increase damage only when your item is used. I mean, so you can do so why not just do was item used? Why not just do something like this? I mean, I don't know if this is like necessarily the best thing ever, but so it suggests to generate property was item used. Okay, so let's go check that out. Well, I can just left control click here. And then, so if you want, okay, let's do this like how you would usually do statics. So the way you do statics, like sort of reasonable way, is that you do static called instance. Well, let's just make this public, and let's make the was item used. I don't like properties too much. Let's make this into just public field, and then so now we have static instance, but we also need to set this to something. So when we initialize the view on behavior initialize, we want to set the instance to this. Oh, not true. This, and then override some sort of destruction or finalize. Yes, finalize. Oh, mission screen initialize. This is not initialize. I want this to match. So this should be, if we use mission screen finalize, we should also use mission screen initialize. So, and on the finalize, I mean, it already, Visual Studio already knows what to write. So tap to accept. Okay. So now we have a unknowable. Fine. I don't, so it complains that we should set it in the constructor, but I don't care too much. So should I care? Maybe. I mean, not really. So here you write instance is not null, and Artisan beer mission instance was item used. Okay, so like this. And then in drink beer, we set was item used to true. Of course, you will have some sort of timer for this. But I'm sure you can manage that part. So the other way, instead of doing this static stuff, the other option, I can show the other option as well. Maybe it's even better. I don't have strong preference for, let's check that I have Artisan beer. Yes. I don't have strong preference for either approach. So this is the static approach, and the other option is the use the mission get behavior to get an instance of my behavior. Okay, so right now we are doing normal damage, hopefully. 39. Okay. We are doing normal damage. Then I drink 1. Now we should have 1,600 damage. 1,600 damage. Why is it the exact same number? Okay, now it was not the exact same number. Okay, so you see that this would work. Why is it always almost exactly the same number? That seems kind of suspicious. Oh, is this some sort of like maximum damage? I think this is some sort of maximum damage. It's always 1,600. Also, that doesn't seem like it's... That doesn't seem like it is like exactly 200 times some reasonable number. Okay, so this is the static instance approach. And the second option is to... So mission... Oh. Mission. Current. Get behavior. Artisan beer mission view. So we get this to some sort of thing. Artisan beer mission view or something. And then if maybe this is cleaner. I don't know. Either way is fine in my books. So now you don't need any of this stuff. Yeah, maybe this is cleaner. Oh. But this is, at this point, it is your choice. So in some cases, the static instance thing can be quite nice, but in this case, I guess this will end up being a bit cleaner. Does that answer your interest? Yeah, for most things you have some sort of... I mean, this is the exact pattern that I showed. This is the exact pattern that I showed with the instance thing. So mission current is just static mission that behaves exactly the same way that the thing I showed here. So it is set when mission is initialized, and it is destroyed when mission is over. And there are things like this for basically almost everything. So there's like campaign.current. There is, of course, you have the main, you have the mobile party dot main party. You have hero dot main hero. You have agent main agent agent dot main maybe. You have, for most things, you have some sort of static that gives you the most interesting version of that. So you also have the MB object manager. No. Here you also add instance. So the instance to the current object manager. So this is very commonplace thing. And of course the mission current. So you can always be on the lookout for some sort of static like this that will give you the most interesting instance of that thing that you're looking at. Okay. So I guess that is everything for now. And I should revert these changes because this was not the thing that I wanted to actually add. Let's see, what did I add here? Oh, the difficulty model. All right. Let's revert that as well. And then I will go ahead and say good night to you all, and I hope to